Hey everybody, welcome to Pack 1 Pick 1 number 227 on the Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got another pack of Theros Beyond Death. Except this one's a collector booster. It's the second collector booster. It's the last collector booster we're going to do. We're going to open this and we're going to talk about what we would take Pack 1 Pick 1 if this was a ludicrously expensive draft. Because of course this has a whole bunch of fancy cards, all the commons are foiled, etc, etc, etc. Now over at patreon.com/themanaleak, each week I pick a patron at random from the $5 level or above to get all the cards, none of the cards, some of the cards out of the pack, their choice. And that includes the collector's boosters packs. So this one's going to David D. So we're going to open this, see what we would take Pack 1 Pick 1 if we were wasting a ludicrous amount of money on a draft. I noticed a foil nightmare token on the back. Up first, we have really bad lighting on these foils, but there's probably not much we're going to be able to do about that. Up first is Nylea's Forerunner, 4 and a green for a 5/3 trample. Other creatures you control have trample. A fine green card. Most green decks are going to play one. It's a little tiny bit expensive for the toughness and for the fragility of being an enchantment creature, but it's still fine, but it's not a first pick. Up next is Plummet. Plummet is 1 and a green for an instant. Destroy target creature with flying. Obviously a sideboard card only. There's no reason to be main decking this, and no reason to be first picking it, or even 5th or 10th picking it. Well, maybe 10th. Up next is Sleep of the Dead. Sleep of the Dead's a single blue mana for a sorcery. Tap target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Escape for 2 and a blue and exile 3 other cards. I'm not a big fan of this. I have heard that some people have started to come up on it a bit, but I'm not there. It's sorcery speed, and that's just a huge downside for me. No interest in Sleep of the Dead in decks that I play, period, and certainly not in first pick. Up next is Omen of the Dead. Omen of the Dead's a single black mana for an enchantment. Flash, when it ETBs, return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Pay 2 and a black, sack it, scry 2. Totally fine card. I'll play Omen of the Dead's in multiples in all of my black decks. Probably the first 2. The third one I think I'd have to think about a little bit more. Very good card. It's going to get your bombs back. It's going to get the creatures back that you need. It might just get back filler cards if you need to. And of course the scry later on is just great, but it's not a first pick. Up next is a Foil Mountain, because I guess a basic is a common card, so you can get foil basics in these collector boosters. Woof. I guess this is actually rare because, you know, all the Theros lands in regular packs are full art. So this is a very rare foil half art Theros Mountain. We're not first picking it. Up next is Transcendent Envoy. Transcendent Envoy is 1 and a white for an enchantment creature, Griffin. It's a 1/2 flying. Your auras cost 1 less to cast. It's an okay filler card in your average white deck. If you are playing a whole bunch of auras, specifically things like Dreadful Apathy or Heliod's Punishment, them being cheaper is just nice. It's never ever a first pick, but it's generally an include, and it may go up into an auto include depending on your deck. Not a first pick. So we are out of our commons now. We're into our uncommons, I believe. Archon of Falling Stars. Archon of Falling Stars is 4 white for a creature Archon. It's a 4/4 flyer. When it dies, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a very good card. It's a little tiny bit expensive for some white decks, but there are white decks that don't have any problem playing a 6-drop. And of course, a 4/4 flyer is potentially just going to win the game. And even if it doesn't, if it dies, which your opponent's going to hope it dies, getting back an enchantment straight to the battlefield is going to be huge. Very good card. I would first pick this in some packs, and currently I'm first picking it in this pack. Up next is Heroes of the Revel. Heroes of the Revel is 4 and a red for a creature Satyr Soldier. It's a 4/4. When it ETBs, make a 1/1 red Satyr creature token with this creature can't block. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Heroes of the Revel, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. We talked about this one last week. It's the hero that the hero deck doesn't even really want. A 5-drop is very expensive. This 5-drop does not do anything other than be a 4/4 with the hero text, I guess, and then also be a 1/1 that can't block. It's just not that good. I'll cut this in a lot of my red-white hero decks. The 2 common ones are just really good. Yeah, Heroes of the Revel, never a first pick, and not often an include in my mind. Up next, we're into the foil fancy basic slots. So we got ourselves a foil swamp and we got ourselves a foil forest. We're obviously not first picking that. Behind this is our first rare, I think. I can never remember how these packs work. Behind that is, I don't believe this is our first rare. I think this is our first ancillary card. So from Brawl or Buy a Box or etc., but it happens to be a rare. Victory's Envoy, 3 white for a creature human cleric. It's a 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, put +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Wow. That would be really good in limited. That's a 5-drop that white would certainly play. Each other creature's kind of a pain that she'll never grow herself, meaning she'll still be a little bit fragile to anything that can deal 3 damage. But +1/+1 counters on your entire team every turn is really good. I think she's the easy first pick at the moment. And that doesn't feel like you'll often hear the ancillary card being the easy first pick. But of course, we've got some more cards to go. Up next is a full art or extended art. I can't remember the exact names for all these stupid different versions of cards. Is Temple of Plenty. Temple of Plenty enters the battlefield tapped. When Temple of Plenty enters the battlefield, scry 1, tapped, add green or white. We don't first pick these lands. They're okay, but they're definitely like middle of the pack picks. So definitely not the pick over this Victory's Envoy. Our foil rare is Woe Strider. Woe Strider's 2 and a black for a creature horror. It's a 3/2. When it ETBs, you make an 0/1 goat. Sacrifice another creature, scry 1. Escape for 3 black and exile 4 cards, and it escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. I like Woe Strider a fair bit. I think it's a very good black card. It's honestly under-impressed me a slight bit. It hasn't been as powerful as I had hoped. I think it would actually be an interesting discussion between Victory's Envoy or Woe Strider. Now, of course, Victory's Envoy, we don't play with this in limited, so it's, hard to exactly say how good it would be, but I honestly think it would be better than the Woe Strider. But let's keep them both in frame, and we've got a few more cards here. We've got a alternate art Planeswalker, Calyx, Destiny's Hand. Calyx, Destiny's Hand is 2 green white for a legendary Planeswalker Calyx, 4 loyalty counters +1. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. -3, exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. You turn something into an Oblivion Ring. -7, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Calyx is decent. I have played with Calyx a couple of times. He's not like a game-ending Planeswalker. He's certainly no Oko or original Theros Elspeth or anything like that. He's just one of those Planeswalkers who is, decent. Pretty decent. Does what it's supposed to do in its deck. I would consider first picking Calyx Destiny's Hand in most packs, I think, and I think I would do it in this pack here, although I would really want to try out Victory's Envoy. So I think we can pull these two out, but we'll keep them just above frame because we're going to first pick Calyx at the moment. Behind Calyx, we have a foil constellation, Nylea Keen-Eyed. Nylea Keen-Eyed is 3 and a green for a legendary enchantment creature god. She's a 5/6 indestructible as long as your devotion to green is equal to 5. Nylea isn't a creature. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Pay 2 and a green, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put it into your graveyard. Nylea underimpressed me way back at the pre-release. Since then, I've played her a couple of more times, and she's fine. She's definitely not in the top half of the gods, I don't think. She's definitely not better than Heliod or Klothys or Thassa, or I don't think she's better than Erebos, but she's better than Purphoros. She's not last. Still, she's fine. I'd still first pick her in a number of packs, but against Calyx, I don't know. This is actually an interesting discussion. We have a foil human soldier and a foil nightmare token in behind that. So really, our various rares are our potential first picks here. We've got Woe Strider, Nylea, Victory's Envoy, or Calyx. And that's tough. That's really, really tough. I think Woe Strider's out. I think it actually is possibly the weakest of the 4, but I don't know that for sure. I think Victory's Envoy is out. I think we are looking at the Mythics, Calyx or Nylea, and I think Nylea probably should get the nod just because she does what every green deck wants to do, whereas Calyx does what every green-white deck wants to do. So Nylea does keep you a little bit more open. So I think ultimately I'm going to go with the Nylea here. But boy, interesting choice. Let me know what you would have taken. The Nylea, the Calyx, the Victory's Envoy, the Woe Strider. Would you have taken one of these other cards for some reason? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me over on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. You can find me at patreon.com/ShamaniLeek if you want to become a backer like David D did and get your chance to get all the cards, none of the cards, some of the cards out of each pack each week and work your way towards getting a playmat, join the Discord, etc. You can always go to inkedgaming.com/ShamaniLeek. Yes, that's the correct URL to let them know that I sent you. If you're going to purchase something from there, that would help out a ton. And of course, like, share, and subscribe is the easiest way. If you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, though, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.